Each evening here on WFFT, you're going to hear from Senior Senator Dan Coates. You're going to get his take tonight, first on the Ebola crisis. Do you think that our government took Ebola serious enough when it first broke and we were seeing signs that it could come back here to our country? Did we take it serious enough?
You know, it's always like we're a little late behind the curve. Clearly, we were here on ISIS situation. We said it should have left residual forces in Iraq. Never would have happened. We left the vacuum. They filled the vacuum. This is a world health threat. We knew from the very beginning how dangerous this is, number one, and how difficult it is to try to address it because it takes 21 days to manifest itself. So someone who has traveled to an Ebola-infected area may feel perfectly healthy when they board the plane to come back to the United States or come back to Europe or wherever they're going, only to find out 12, 14, 16 days later that they have it. Well, then who did they come in contact with during the days when they felt they were healthy? So this is something we have to take seriously, and we have to process, I think, people who are in those areas before they board that plane to come back. And do the proper screening, and even then it's very, very difficult. And then, now we do have these, the healthcare system here in the United States that can address these issues when we learn someone has Ebola, and hopefully quarantine and even save their lives. But Africa doesn't have that. So again, you're talking about entry here to the country, whether it's a terrorist coming back from Syria to do harm here to Americans, or whether it's someone inadvertently coming back that has Ebola. The processing system here has to be strengthened so we can stop as much of that as possible.
How do we do that immediately? Does the President or Congress need to act and change something about the flight-in status and the paperwork that you do when you come back from these certain countries? Should we put an alert out and say, this is mandatory, you cannot enter the country if you're flying in from XYZ country?
I think, yes, what you suggested are something we're going to have to impose, because we simply cannot just rely on the fact that people may lie and there are no symptoms at the time. There needs to be better screening for those who travel that area. I think, number one, we should say don't travel there unless you absolutely have to. Number two, I think we should say if you do travel there, understand you're going to have to go through a pretty rigorous process to get back on that plane and come back to America to prove you're not carrying that Ebola virus.